hard problem of consciousness. There is one question that haunts both philosophers and neuroscientists alike. Not because we can't observe the brain, not because we don't understand neurons or their chemistry, but because something still slips through the cracks. Experience. Why does anything feel like anything at all? Why is it that when light hits your eyes, you see color and not just electric data? Why do you feel joy, sorrow, pain instead of merely processing signals? This is not a technical glitch. This is the glitch. Welcome to Soul Syntax, and this is the hard problem of consciousness, defining the problem. In 1995, philosopher David Chalmers coined the phrase, the hard problem of consciousness. Not because the problem was new, but because it finally had a name. The easy problems of consciousness involve mechanisms, how we focus attention, how the brain integrates information, how decisions are made even unconsciously. But the hard problem asks, why does all this neural activity lead to experience? Why isn't the brain just a dark, silent calculator? Why does pain hurt? Why does music move us? These aren't just poetic questions. They are scientific ones we have no answer for. Inside the illusion. Every second, your brain receives billions of bits of data. Sound, light, pressure, temperature, and yet you don't feel like a computer parsing code. You feel like you, a self, a soul, a witness. But neuroscience tells us there is no center of consciousness in the brain, no command post, no I inside your head. Just billions of neurons sparking in patterns, and somehow from that comes a sunrise, a kiss, a memory, a scream. The colors of experience, the depths of grief, the shock of love, and no one knows how. The theater metaphor. Imagine consciousness as a theater. Lights dim, the spotlight turns on. Certain thoughts, memories, and sensations take center stage. Others linger in the dark, off stage. But who is the audience? Who is watching the show? The metaphor collapses. Because in consciousness, the spotlight and the watcher are the same. The observer and the observed blur. And we don't know if we're watching reality or just the illusion of it. The limits of materialism science has given us incredible tools. fMRIs, EEGs, neural maps. We can see which parts of the brain activate when you fall in love, when you listen to Bach, when you feel spiritual awe. But we still can't see why those patterns give rise to feeling. Materialism, the idea that all things are physical, begins to wobble, because it explains structure, but not subjectivity. You can know everything about the wavelength of red, but that won't tell you what red feels like. That is the gap. What if consciousness is primary? What if we have it backwards? What if consciousness is primary? What if we have it backwards? What if consciousness isn't an effect, but a cause? Some philosophers and mystics suggest that instead of arising from matter, consciousness is fundamental, like gravity, or space, or time. Everything else arises from it. Panpsychism proposes that all matter has a tiny flicker of experience. Idealism suggests that everything is consciousness, and matter is the illusion. These aren't just ancient myths. They are becoming viable theories in modern philosophy of mind. Consciousness beyond the brain, near-death experiences, psychedelic journeys, meditation, lucid dreaming. These are edges of consciousness where the self seems to dissolve. People return from them transformed. Some say they felt their awareness expand beyond their body. Others describe pure presence, timelessness, light. Can all of it be hallucination? Or is our model of the mind just too small? What if the brain is not a generator, but a receiver, a filter for something larger? Conscious AI? Today, we build machines that mimic us. Neural networks, generative language models, can they ever become conscious? Or are they just very advanced simulations? If we can't explain how we are conscious, how could we know if an AI ever crosses that threshold? What would it feel like to be a machine? Or would it feel nothing at all? Why it matters, you might ask, why does this even matter? Why it matters, you might ask, why does this even matter? Because the hard problem is not just about theory, it's about identity, ethics, humanity. If we are just machines, then that changes everything. If we are more, that changes everything too. Consciousness is the one thing we all share, and we still don't understand it. That should humble us. and also ignite our curiosity. In our next episode, we ask, can AI become sentient? Until then, stay curious, stay conscious. If this stirred something inside you, subscribe, like, and share this with a fellow seeker.